we're in the process, brand new year, we're in the beginning of something new. And in Unity, there's two traditions that we focus on. One of them we did last week. How many people were here for that? Burning Bowl, was that pretty cool? It's pretty cool, yeah. And what that is letting go. We're letting go of this stuff. And today we're going to be doing another ceremony. We're going to be talking about it in just a minute. But for those of you that were not here, I'm just going to remind you that we told this amazing story of the Weemic people. The Weemic people are cute little people. And what they do is they go around all day long and they're either giving away gray dots or they're giving away silver stars. And so when you look at the Weemic people, they either have a bunch of gray dots all over them, which are basically negative thoughts, negative ideas, negative stuff that people put on them. Well, you're not a very good Weemic, therefore you don't do this, and we're going to put these dots all over you. And so they got a bunch of gray dots, or they got a bunch of stars. Kind of depends on wherever you fall. And we were introduced to this amazing little Weemic. His name was Punchinello, and Punchinello was a very sad Weemic because all he had was gray stars. And people would put so many gray stars on Punchinello that he decided he didn't like to go out very much. And he didn't like to hang out with a lot of Weemics because of all the gray dots he had on him that were put on him by other people. Until one day he met this beautiful soul named Lulia. And what was so unique and different about Lulia was that she had no dots. She didn't have any gray dots or any gold stars. And he couldn't believe this. And he asked her, well, why is that the case? And she said, I just don't listen to them. In other words, I don't let them stick. Well, this fascinated Punchinello, and Punchinello was like, tell me more. And she says, it's easy. I go talk to the woodmaker Eli at his wood shop every day. And so down the street, Punchinello walks, and he sees Eli. And Eli is full of wisdom and shares all of these thoughts and ideas with Punchinello that basically says, you don't need to worry about what other Weemics say, because all that matters is what I think, and I think you're amazing, and I think you're beautiful. And that's the story of the Weemics. Now, when you really look at that story, of course, who is Punchinello? Wah. Some could say Lulia, maybe an angel, maybe a friend. Oh, I don't know, maybe somebody that's hanging out here at Unity. Don't know. And then, of course, who's Eli that he's supposed to go hang out with every single day? Thank you. Somebody's paying attention. Great. Eli's God. And so that's why Lulia says, go see Eli every day. Every day, go see Eli. Why? Because Eli reminds Punchinello who all that matters, who he really is, and the only thing he really needs to be focusing on. And that was the story. That's what we did last time. And then we went into the burning bowl, which is the burning bowl, in a sense, is letting go of all of our gray dots, all of the beliefs, all of the things that we're ready to let go of, all the things that we've been told that aren't true about who and what we are, about who and what God is, about this dance that we do every single day here at Unity. And so we did that ceremony. Today, we're going to be talking about the second part, which is called a white stone therapy. It is therapy for some people. Ceremony. I think that's a better word. I think that's the word I was looking for, right? So, the white stone ceremony. It's about a fresh start. It's about a new beginning. It's about a welcoming in of the new. And like the Daily Word said, is actually mentioned in the book of Revelation. Let anyone who has an ear to listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches, to everyone who conquers, I will give some hidden manna, and I will give a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name that no one else except the one who receives it knows. So let me get this right. Basically, you're going to be given a new name, and only you are going to know it in this ceremony. Yes. So remember, back in the days, what the custom was is that during slavery in the Holy Land, what would happen is when a prisoner was given, they were given a white stone when they were released. They were free. And that was a token, if you will, of that person's freedom. And on that stone was basically written a new name that they would take with them for the rest of their life. And that's what the white stone represented. So I thought it was interesting to me, this whole idea of a new name. Like, that's kind of unique, like a whole new name. But in truth, in the Bible, it actually happens often. In the Old Testament, it actually happens 6 times. And in the New Testament, it actually happens 2 times. And when you look at the name changes in the Bible, it's usually one of 3 things. It's either, number 1, a shift literally in destiny. So in other words, the whole person is basically shifted. There is, the second one would be some form of transformation that happens within the person, like a spiritual renewal or a new identity, if you will. And then the third thing is some type of a covenant between that person and God. And so therefore, they get a new name. So some examples in the Old Testament, when Abram, that was the original name, was Abram, gets new named Abraham, which basically means the father of many nations. That's what Abraham stands for. And that's to reflect the covenant. Again, here's this word covenant, promise that he would become the father of a multitude of nations, right? Then you have Sarai switching over to Sarah, and her name meant princess. So she became a princess to signify her role as the mother of nations and kings. Then you have Jacob's name switching over from Jacob to Israel. So it's a really funny story in the Bible, but what happens is Jacob has this big fight, and you can't really tell, but what scholars believe it was a fight with God. And so Jacob's wrestling with God. And actually, the name Israel means one who struggles with God. Isn't that interesting? That's fascinating, right? So that's interesting because that basically reflects his transformation after he goes through this process. And think about how prophetic it is. When you sit there and you start to get into this work and you start to do this processing, do you not struggle with it? Do you not feel like at times, for those that are really into this work, does not it feel like you are fighting with God? It did me. So it's interesting. And then you have Hosea to Joshua. Moses renames Hosea to Joshua, meaning the Lord is salvation. And that's reflecting Joshua's role in leading Israel to their inheritance, right? And then we bounce into the New Testament. There's a couple other name switches in the Old Testament, but I didn't find them to be relevant, actually. There wasn't quite as a profound of a thing, but there's 2 more instances where that happens. But in the New Testament, you have this idea of Simon, the tax collector, being changed into Peter, right? And so Simon's name means rock. And of course, Jesus said, I will build my church on you, right? Also represents metaphysically faith, right? And then you have Saul to Paul, and Saul used to be the persecutor. He used to be the one that would go out and persecute the Christians. That's what he did. And then he begins to use the name of Paul after his conversion. So that's what happens. So there's something about these names and changing names which is quite profound. And no matter what the reason the names change, there's something that happens where? Right there. Something shifted and something changed. Now, we can look at this and you could say, if you wanted to, and be a victim. And you could say, well, that's great for them, Mike. These are people in the Bible, and of course, that would never happen to me. And then what I would say is, well, then you're right. It'll probably never happen to me or you. Or you could actually look at it and think to yourself, okay, Mike talks a lot about this idea of going from standing in a victim mode and being a victim, woe is me, I can't do anything, nothing's going to change, nothing's going to happen, and I've just dealt this deck of cards and there's nothing I can do to do anything about it. That's one way that you can approach this. Or you could come over here and say, actually, the truth is, I'm a child of God, I'm a powerful creator, and I can make a decision to change anytime I want. There's your choice, folks. So as we go through this process, just know that what we're going to be doing in a couple of minutes is we are going to go through a white stone ceremony where I'm going to lead you through a meditation, and you are going to basically spend time in quiet as I guide you, as I direct you, as I poke you, as I prompt you with this thought or the idea, and I want you to think about this. What if God was standing right here, right now? And God said, what do you want? What do you want? You can have anything that you want. What would be your word for the year? Now, you can sit there and say, well, that's cute, Mike. Or you can go, what if God really did show up? What if Spirit really did show up? What if there really was a word for me, or a couple of words, that I could put on my rock, and I could write on my rock, and I could keep with me the entire year, and I can choose to focus on it? And what if all of us decided to make this next few moments when we go into meditation powerful? And what if we all made a collective agreement that would allow Spirit to flow through us and to actually share a word with us, something that we can take with us, something that's really, really important, really meaningful, genuinely meaningful?
Hey, it's Reverend Mike here. I just wanted to stop for a moment before you get on with your day, and thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. It means the world to us, and I just wanted to let you know if there's anything that we can do to make your experience even better, please do not hesitate to reach out by going to our website. I also wanted to offer you the opportunity for us to get together and sit down so I could get to know you a little bit better and answer any questions that you have. I can either do that by either getting together in person, have a cup of coffee, or we can meet online via Zoom. If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at michael@courage2thrive.com. And lastly, if you find these messages are helping you, we would be tremendously grateful if you'd consider donating to the center. The best and the easiest way to do that is simple. Just go to our website. Again, thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Hope you're doing well. God bless, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye now.